Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, June 1st City Council meeting. Monty, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Bainey.
Here.
Alderman Glab.
Here.
Alderman Doherty.
Here.
Alderwoman Bassey.
Here.
Alderman Davis.
Here.
Alderman Cook.
Here.
Alderwoman Miller.
Here.
Mayor Jett.
Here. Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the first item on the agenda this evening is a conceptual presentation by Ryan Holmes. Andy Teagan, if you could please step up to, you want to do the podium? Whatever's easier for you. If you could hit that center button, please. There you go.
Okay.
Floor is yours.
Okay. So we were here a month ago and got a bunch of feedback. Have presented a new plan with updated talking points. I've noticed, the staff, of course, put a memo together. So I'll just kind of jump right into changes that have been made. So one of the comments, of course, was let's have some more flexibility with the 3-car garage. So we have made a fix on the single-family detached to add the 66-foot wide lot that can accommodate a 3-car garage. So approximately half now of the single-family lots can accommodate that. Certainly a lot of comments were about the 1-car townhome product. So now we come up with a new plan that has all 2-car garage on the townhome. The townhome product is a little bit different. Right there is a floor plan, a rendering of what it looks like. It's what's called a rear load townhome product, 2-car garage, 1,880 square feet. So it's kind of a nicer, larger product type here. Okay, let's see. There's some comments about parks and if parks could become a municipal donation. So we've made some changes on how that would work to have the parks be dedicated towards the city. Let's see. That's the main, because of the just kind of configuration of how things worked out, the density shrunk from the previous version of 362 down to 335 on overall density. Let's see. I think that was the main adjustments to the plan. Buffers, I'm sorry. There was talk about the industrial site that's next to us. So we have added a few buffer changes, other increases, and or just flat out adding them. So there's now buffers along the north of the townhomes, west of the single family lots. So the entire industrial park that's next to us does have buffer between us and them. Okay. All right, that's the main changes. So that I just kind of get right into it here.
I appreciate it, Andy. I'm going to open up for comments, questions by council. Alderman Bainey, sorry.
We're never going to get this
I
right.
apologize. Go ahead.
I just had a question about the townhomes. I know one of the things we were talking about was the driveway space and guest parking.
Mhm.
So it looks like you redid some things, but maybe I'm just not reading this right. Are these facing each other, and then the rear load, like how much parking do they have, and is there guest parking allotted now?
Yeah, so on the previous version with the one-car garage, you would have room for one vehicle in the garage, one vehicle on the driveway. That's it. So now you've got two in the garage and two on the driveway. And that the garage doors do face each other.
Okay. Oh, sorry. That's what I thought it looked like. So I wanted to make sure. Is there guest parking anywhere, or that's only taking place in whatever spot they have allotted in front of their garage?
Correct. So that's typically how these typically work, that there would be a turnaround spot so each parking courtyard shares a turnaround spot. That's also guest parking, but it's typically the two cars in the driveway that is considered the guest parking.
Thank you very much.
Got it.
Alderman Glad.
Yeah, number one, as far as I'm concerned, this development is way too dense. That street was not built for that type of traffic. Since you've been here last, I had time to do a lot of research, and the development down the Parkway, we have the townhomes already that were supposed to be in there as a buffer between the developments right off of the main road, off of 31 to the single family. And this whole area was supposed to be single family homes. In fact, the concept was that it was 189 homes that were supposed to be over there. And we see the amount of problems and traffic that we have right now on Veterans Memorial. And you take a look at your building on the south side right now, you're just first starting. You got 82 lots out there, I believe, that need to be built
66,
on.
yep, correct.
So, I mean, that's going to add to the traffic right there. And you want to get this approved before that we even see what the traffic problems become with that built out. You took part of a single family area and you recreated a whole new neighborhood, and you want to add in extra townhomes and whatnot. And in order to grow properly, we need a good mixture and balance of single family and multifamily homes. And in this case, you're doubling up on multifamily compared to what we were supposed to have down Veterans Parkway. And, you know, we're talking going from 189 to 300 and how many homes?
335.
335. So, I mean, you're looking at what, 70% more? 80% more?
So,
than
yeah,
what was-
the
what was
189 we're talking about
originally
was-
planned to be there. And I just, you know, then you're talking the parks, and you're talking that you want $600,000 for the parks. Parks aren't worth 600. That land isn't worth that kind of money, by no means. I'm sorry, it just isn't. And as far as I'm concerned, I want to see the original plans with this being built out to the 189 homes that were supposed to be there. And I think that's basically where it should be. And I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Alderman Miller?
Thank you for taking our comments back and reworking it. I believe that the rear entry townhomes are a nice addition, both in square footage and a product line, which we only have 2 of in the area. So I think it's a nice addition. And if you compare it to Stonewater, they had similar sized townhomes out there and they sold out. So clearly it's a product that people want. The fact that it buffers the industrial, again, it's the side look to both the commercial and the industrial space. I think that's okay. It works for me. I like that you've added the 66-foot wide lots, because in today's marketplace, everybody has a lot of stuff. And the third bay of the garage is incredibly important. So it's nice that you've put those in and you've mixed them in. So it's just not the 3-car garage area. You've sprinkled them in through the community. I'm very pleased that you took all of the wish list that we gave you and incorporated it. So I'm very happy with the new plan, and I certainly support the growth. Thank you.
Great.
Alderman Bassi.
Thank you. The future land use for this site is conservation residential development. The comprehensive plan is very clearly states multiple times the conservation residential development should include larger residential lots centered around larger open spaces. This site plan includes small residential lots, 4 small parks, and no large open spaces aside from the stormwater basin. My feedback is the same as last time. This development is too dense and there is not enough open space, so I do not support moving forward with this development. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments by council? No. Can we get some feedback from those that haven't spoken yet for the developer? Alderman Doherty?
Yeah, I definitely liked your comments. I was not at that meeting, but I read everything. I like, again, the townhomes. I think it's perfect buffer against that area. I think it'll be a great addition to this part of the city. Thank you.
Alderman Davis?
Yeah, this is my ward, and it's actually right next to my neighborhood. So honestly, you took everything that we had asked and addressed it. Obviously, with the development that's going on right now, I've had some interactions with your company and stuff like that, and you guys have been great with everything. So I like the mixture of the townhomes and the houses. So there's a need. We know there's a need. There's been plenty of studies done over the last how many years. So I think I'm good with it.
Okay.
Thank you. Alderman Cook?
I sit and listen to all the comments of all the aldermen and all that. You've done a good job of changing everything that has been requested of you. I think it's a good addition to the city. I'll go along with it.
All right. Thank you. So do you have enough feedback from us, Andy, to come back? The parks, I'd like to make a statement regarding the parks. I think it's important, and I could talk to council members, but I think it's important for you to have the parks versus the city taking over the parks. I know I mentioned last time, but after talking to staff and our manpower as well, I think it's important. So obviously we can discuss that. Ross, do you want to kind of?
Yeah, I just want to make mention this $600,000 that Alderman Glab referenced. Our ordinance does allow for reduction in impact fees with the donation of the land to the parks. So that's where that comes into play. That is a written ordinance within our city ordinances. So they're not asking for a reduction just out of the blue. Our ordinance allows for that reduction.
Correct.
If they're going to be public, if they are kept with the HOA, which we can do, then there wouldn't be the reduction. So
That's my recommendation.
Right.
I don't, for those that have supported this, are you okay with that? Yeah. So
Can I also state,
go ahead.
there is a backup SSA on this property already in existence. So if for some reason the parks went into disrepair or were not maintained, we could enact that SSA. And we do that for all of our subdivisions for maintenance responsibilities on HOA parks and detention facilities.
Perfect. Thank you, Ross. Any other questions, comments by council? Andy, you good?
I think I got enough. Yeah, we definitely do.
Thank you, sir.
Perfect. Thank you very
I
much.
appreciate it. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a conceptual presentation, Forest Glen Water Sewer Connection with Ben Valletta. You want to stand up there?
Perfect.
Ross, do you want to go ahead and present?
Sure,
a
I'll
little
make
bit?
it quick. Ben's going to give us a presentation here, but Ben is looking at building a senior housing development in the village of McCullum Lake. The development is not eligible for annexation into the city of McHenry currently as it sits, but Ben is looking to possibly extend a water main roughly 3,000 feet to supply this development with the city water. We do currently, as stated in the agenda supplement, supply the village of Wonder Lake with sanitary sewer. So this would be in addition to that. So I'll let Ben.
McCollum Lake.
I'm
McCollum
sorry.
Lake.
I'm sorry. What did I say?
You said Wonder Lake. Which,
Sorry, McCollum Lake.
McCollum Lake.
So we can have a further discussion about that after Ben gives his presentation.
All right, Ben, floor is yours.
Thank you. I am in the village of McCollum Lake, but I did have a couple meetings with Ross and with Cody to see the possibility of annexation into the city. And because I don't own property that goes contiguous with the city, even if I bought that property, it wouldn't matter because there's a church property right there on the corner of Flander and Ringwood Road, and they are committed to stay in the village of McCollum Lake. So that would leave, what would you call it, an island that would, a zoning island that wouldn't allow me to annex into the city. So what we are planning on doing on our property is to build 16 resident assisted living and memory care, and another 10 residents of independent living care. And so water would be a great addition. And I'm probably not following my slides here, but since Ross pretty much covered what I want to do here is, I thought I'd just kind of explain it to you. The reason why we're looking for city water is because having a senior community like this, obviously the advantages to having city water are in fire protection. It's in the quality of the water. It's be able to support the fire department by having fire hydrants, all these things that we cannot do with going in there and doing city wells. You can see from the pictures, since the property is very wooded, we're gonna build like a Colorado kind of style, and we're gonna call them the lodges at Forest Glen and the cottages at Forest Glen. The reason why I'm also asking to have the board approve the water reduction from 1.5 times what you charge somebody who's not annexed into the village to the same rate is because I feel like we're also going to be adding value to the city by having this kind of community. The need in the entire county is absolutely tremendous. They're calling it the silver tsunami on a national level on what is needed in right now with senior housing. And we think that's also, it benefits not only McCollum Lake, but it benefits the city and it also benefits the county. So that is the reason why I'm here requesting to be able to tap into the water. Currently, the water is right at the intersection, I think, of West Lake, is that what it's called? Or West Shore Drive. We would bring the water about, like Ross said, about 4,000 feet up to the entrance, which would be just past Flander Road to the entrance of Forest Glen. So that's what I'm requesting, is to basically be able to tie into the water. And also in McCollum Lake, there is city sewer already there that you're already supplying. So that would give complete water and sewer utilities to the property. Any questions on that?
Thank you, Ben. All right, I'm gonna open up for comments by the council. Any questions, comments, input? Alderman Bassi.
Thank you. I would actually defer to Public Works on whether or not they can support your connection to our sewer and water. However, the non-resident water usage rate of 1.5 times, I do not support waiving that. So Ross, is it feasible? Russ, sorry. Bassi, Bainey, Ross.
There's a whole bunch of alliteration tonight.
One of you two over there.
Yes, I to answer your question, it's feasible. But you know, we would have to see a little more basis of design for the units, what the water consumption would be, what the requirements of the fire suppression systems would be. So, I mean, I don't want to say that it's impossible, but this is conceptual at this point. I don't have enough information in front of me right now to say definitively that we can or cannot support the needs of this development.
Thank you.
Alderman Glad.
Yeah, I'm sure, Russ, that if you needed to, you could probably take that pipe all the way down to Ringwood if you had to. I'm just saying, if you had to. So, I mean, that isn't part of the equation and the problem. The question I have is what real benefits to the water users in the city of McHenry? Is it to have this all the way out there connected, having to maintain a lot of that? And what other type of problems can you wind up having the access so close as far as water connections to other facilities out there, other let's say one of the homes takes and loses its septic. County's going to want them to connect to us because we'll be within a couple hundred feet or whatever that law is. So, I mean, that's one thing, it just opens us up to a lot of what ifs down the road that could cause impacts to our system and also impacts to your department as far as having to maintain something like that. I think we've done a phenomenal job as far as keeping our capacities to be able to look at developments that are, being proposed and everything else as far as our maintenance. And I don't think that we've been developing to start, granted, we've done it for, one individual residential lot here or there that was contiguous towards the city. But as far as taking it this far down and for a much larger project, I just don't see it. I think more so than anything, we've got to worry about the city of McHenry as far as the residents here and making sure that we have the capacities and everything for what is being planned here in the city. And yeah, I wouldn't be in favor of this at all.
Thank you. Alderman Miller.
Thank you. Thank you for your proposal. I think it's a unique housing opportunity. And as you say, the silver tsunami is here. We see that in every statistic that we are approached with. Recently, I also serve on the Senior Services Commission for the county, and we are doing aging studies all the time. So we do see the need and the influx of required housing. I am not opposed to letting you, on your dollar, take our water 2,000 feet north, because that is extraordinarily expensive and generous of you to do that on our behalf. I do know that when we have sewer available and water available, that others may need it, and obviously it would then be there and not at our dime, which, that's the reality of your proposal.
Exactly.
So I am not opposed to it. I do think the product you're offering is unique. I think it would be a benefit to our communities, even though you're within the village of McCollum Lake. These people are going to eat, shop, and be part of the McHenry marketplace. So I'm not opposed at all.
Well, also, this requires a large staff. All this employment comes from this area too, with caregivers, nurses, all the other support staff that goes along with it. If there was a way for us to annex into the city, we already would have taken that path. But unfortunately, I had 2 meetings with Ross and with Cody what if I did this? What if I did that? I tried every way I could in order to be able to do that. But I honestly believe, we're talking about 125 residents, not 125 buildings. There's only 16 residents. There's only another 10, which would be either 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom cottages that are independent living. We're not going to create a huge load of as far as that goes. In some of the conversations I know we had with Public Works, the initial impression was there was enough, that pipe was large enough to be able to accommodate that. And I know that the sewer, which is off of Orchard Road, which is already in the village of McCollum Lake, was already sized for a larger development than what I'm proposing, which would have been 50 single-family homes, and that would have had a larger impact. So really, the bulk of the reason why I'm doing this is because, in caring for seniors, you have to keep them safe. And one of those things is to have proper, fire protection both in the building and also on the street. And in my conversations with the fire department, this was one of the recommendations that they made to me, and that's why I came back to you. So I am just trying to build a unique senior community that is absolutely in need in our entire area. And that's why I'm here. And I would appreciate your help to let me create that community. And city water would be a big benefit to it.
Thank you. Alderwoman Miller, are you good with the reduction as well?
I am.
Okay. Thank you. Any other, Alderwoman Bainey?
I think the community is a great idea, and I'm certain that there is definitely a need. I agree with Alderwoman Bassey. If our staff feels, as you progress with your plans, that we would be able to accommodate providing the water, I would be okay with that. I also don't think it's a good idea to start reducing the cost of the water, so I don't think I would be in favor of that reduction to only
Well, I
to
had
the
to
same.
ask.
Yeah, absolutely you do, and I totally get it. I just don't think it would be fair to our residents and
Well,
something we
I-
can't set a precedence for, in my opinion.
I understand that. It's I just felt the offset of the value that I'm bringing to the city and having a community like this 5 minutes from the heart of the city maybe be worth the trade-off to you. I still believe that, but I believe the value of having city water from fire protection and also the quality of life for the residents there would be worth that. But I haven't let that go yet, just so you know. But I understand what you're saying. I'm not trying to change your ordinance or trade any kind of thing. Cody made it very clear to me he wasn't going to support that. But I just feel like it's an exchange of value that I think would be good for both of us by doing that. So am I hearing you that my next move is to sit down with
We're going to
staff?
hear from a couple others.
Oh,
Because
okay.
right now it's 2 and 2. So hang tight. Let's, Alderman Cook, you have any input on this?
Your concept is very good. I approve of that.
Thank you.
And I'm not going to give up the water, Russ, this is for you. Where does that water come from? Is that coming from the beep trio over there? Will that pump the water there, or is it coming from Lakeland Park, that water station there?
Well, yeah, it's going to come, I guess, more so from the area of 120 would be the main supply point. The system is looped, so it could be fed from, several different points depending on where the demand is on the system at that time.
Okay, I was just asking for like a backup to whatever. is
Well, I mean,
supplying it
that is,
far.
I guess from where he would be connecting up to his development, that 3,000 feet, there is no redundancy. If there's a failure anywhere along that 3,000 feet, there's no loop that's going to be connected to have an alternative supply.
So will that have to be flushed at the end?
Yeah, they would likely need some sort of flushing device within their development to maintain water quality.
The water station.
So Alderman Cook, are you,
I'm in favor of it.
okay, reduction or no? In water, reduction in?
No reduction.
Had to ask. Alderman Davis.
There's definitely a need. I think the concept is great. They're nice looking units. I am for the design, yes. For the water, as long as you're covering that, I don't mind having the connection, although I am a little concerned about future and if there are any issues, how that affects the city, because obviously that's going to fall on us. Definitely not in favor of the reduction. I almost would be the opposite in adding a service charge for that, since it's not necessarily part of the city, but everything else looks good. So
Thank you.
All right. Alderman Doherty.
Yeah, in favor of the concept, not the reduction.
So at this time, there's in favor of moving forward with water.
Okay.
Oh, Alderman Glad, go
Yeah, I
ahead.
still got some comments, and that's the fact that something that Russ brought up, and we're talking loop in the water, and there is no loop. And we had this same problem, if I recall, down in the McHenry Shores years back, as far as the fact that there was water that didn't loop, and they had nothing but problems as far as the quality of the water and the maintenance of the pipes. And I mean, we're probably talking 25 years ago, but again, without a loop, I think we're just looking at disaster down the road. I really think it, you know, if we can't loop it, you know, I think we're just creating problems for ourselves down in the future, as far as the fact that 10 years down the road, it'll be, what's McHenry doing to our water? You know, let's face it, we're not in the business to supply water, you know, outside the city. You know, I pay my water bill, I pay debt services. That's to build up the water within the city, not to be giving it away and giving it out everywhere else. And I just find it offensive to take and see that we're going to be willing to give out water supplies, you know, out that far, because that isn't what our public works is here for. It's supposed to be here to maintain our residents. And, you know, if we're paying for it, and we've paid for the facilities, and we're still paying for those facilities that were built up, to share the wealth, you're sharing my wealth. I don't have that kind of wealth. So I just find it very difficult to share all the way out that far.
Could I ask one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Could I ask you one question? Do you anticipate this being a service line or a public main?
I
Or
don't
haven't
think
you
we've
thought
had
about
that conversation. I guess I would consider it would be considered a public main.
It would have to be a main up to the property in question,
Why is that?
because it's, yeah. There's multiple units that it's feeding. It's within the, I guess, multiple jurisdictions.
IDPH only allows you to have one service off of a main per building. So you couldn't service multiple buildings with a service. You have to service multiple buildings with a main.
Got it.
But that's, you know, the question is there an agreement that we can make? You
Yeah.
know, we have the sewer agreement with McCollum Lake that says they're responsible for
Maintenance.
the maintenance on
Yeah.
those things. And those are things that we can
Sure.
discuss if the council,
Okay.
you know, is
Got
in
it.
favor of supplying the water.
So I say the next step is to meet with staff, go through the steps with Director Adams and Director Palarecki and figure all that out, bring it back, and see what we can come up with.
Great.
All right?
Yes, got it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank you. for
Have a good
your time.
evening. All right, moving on to public comment. This is for items that are not on the agenda this evening. So once again, if this is regarding any of the items on the agenda, this is not the time to speak. You'll have that opportunity later. So is there any public comment for items that are not on the agenda this evening at this moment? Moving on. Okay. Consent agenda items 7A through 7I. Looking to see if any council members want to pull any items for separate consideration. See none. I'm looking for a motion to approve 7A through 7I. Alderman Doherty.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to do the consent agenda, items 7A through 7I.
Thank you. Alderman Miller.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Discussion by city council. See none. Monty, please call the roll.
Alderman Doherty.
Yes.
Alderwoman Miller.
Yes.
Alderman Cook.
Yes.
Alderman Davis.
Yes.
Alderwoman Bassey.
Yes.
Alderman Glab.
Yes.
Alderwoman Bainey.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Next item on the agenda is 8A is a business improvement grant for Sassy Primitives. I'm looking for a motion to approve a business improvement grant agreement with Sassy Primitives LTD and Baggio Properties LLC for $13,780.68 for the property located at 909 Front Street. Wendy and Caitlin are here this evening, I think. Are you two here this evening? Oh, perfect. There you are. I didn't see you. So I just want to say, Wendy, we've been wanting you in the city of McHenry for so long. I believe right when I got in office, almost 8 years ago, we had conversations. I am super excited. So just so you know, so I'll go ahead and pass it off to Doug Martin to present the item, and then we'll get to the vote.
Thank you, Mayor Jett. I've been working with Wendy and Caitlin on a business improvement grant. They're looking at leasing 909 Front Street. Right now, they're located in McComb Lake and just an area where some makeshift buildings, and they would like a storefront. This location came up. They're leasing it. There needs to be significant improvement done to the building, both interior and exterior wise. You have the cost in front of you, and they didn't feel comfortable entering into a lease without having some level of comfort of a grant being approved to cover some of the costs involved with that. So that's what you have in front of you. They're improving the facade. There's a wall sign, and then there's some interior demolition and construction costs. They have a unique business. If you've never seen it, or they've been around 25 years. They do crafting. They have a retail side, and they have some storage. So they have to kind of configure the building in such a way to fit all that stuff in the building. So they're requesting that, and then very excited to bring this proposal forward and to have them possibly come in the city.
Thank you, Doug. All right, look for a motion. Alderman Miller?
I'll make the motion to approve a business improvement grant agreement with Sassy Primitives Limited and Baggio Properties LLC for $13,780.68 for the property located at 909 Front Street in McHenry.
Thank you. Alderman Bainey?
I will second that motion as stated.
Thank you. Discussion by the city council. Alderman Bainey, go ahead.
I just want to say what a fantastic business this is, run by incredible people, and I am so excited to have them coming to McHenry. The facade of the building is gorgeous. I just think it's going to be a really excellent addition to McHenry, and I'm happy that we're able to help them make it happen.
Awesome. Alderman Miller?
Yeah, I just want to echo the same way. Thank you again for making the move. It's brave of you to do that. And we're excited about having you front and center on Main Street on 31. So thank you very much.
Any other comments by council? Alderman Doherty?
Yeah, I also appreciate you coming to the council for the approval. We've been having numerous talks about the Route 31, how the expansion and how it's going to negatively impact businesses. I applaud you for taking the move and doing it ahead of time, and I hope you will succeed.
Thank you. Any other comments? Any public comment regarding this item? I see none. Would you like to say anything, Wendy? You're good if you don't need to.
I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate it. I can't wait till we open up and everybody can see our company. So,
We're excited. Thank you.
thanks.
Monty, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Miller,
Yes.
Alderwoman Bainey,
Yes.
Alderman Glab,
Yes.
Alderman Doherty,
Yes.
Alderwoman Bassey,
Yes.
Alderman Davis,
Yes.
Alderman Cook.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Congratulations again. All right, next item on the agenda is 8B is Donovan Lift Station Improvements. I'm looking for a motion to waive a competitive bidding and accept the proposal for Advanced Automation and Controls Incorporated of McHenry, Illinois, in the amount of $71,425 to furnish a new electrical panel and pump controls for the Donovan Lift Station. Director Adams?
Thank you, Mayor.
I pretty much said everything you probably just going to say.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, as council is aware, Public Works is currently working on a project with a total budget of $325,000 to rehab the Donovan Lift Station. It's nearly 30 years old, and we've been encountering numerous maintenance issues over the last couple of years. The pump purchase was authorized at the last city council meeting. This is for the purchase of the electrical control panel to support those new pumps. And then there will be a final item coming to council in the future for a contract to install all the new equipment. But I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you. I'm looking for a motion to approve. Alderman Bainey, go ahead.
I'll make that motion to approve the Donovan Lift Station improvements as stated.
Thank you. Alderman Doherty?
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Discussion by city council? Alderman Cook?
Are these specialized, where you couldn't go out for competitive bidding for this project?
It's specialized in the sense that we're using our SCADA integrator who manages all of our SCADA infrastructure and control networking for all of our other wastewater installations. There's a lot of programming and instrumentation that goes into these panels, and we want to make sure that what we get is compatible with all of our other infrastructure so that we don't have issues out in the field with communications or compatibility.
So these guys are good.
What's that?
So these guys are good.
They're good.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments by council? Any public comment regarding this item? Monty, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Bainey,
Yes.
Alderman Doherty,
Yes.
Alderman Glab,
Yes.
Alderwoman Bassie,
Yes.
Alderman Davis,
Yes.
Alderman Cook,
Okay.
Alderwoman Miller.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Next item on the agenda is preserves of Boone Creek. I'm looking for, subject to the full execution of a development agreement, I make a motion to pass an ordinance granting a zoning map amendment, preliminary plat of subdivision, and preliminary plan approval for a conditional use permit for the preserves of Boone Creek single-family planned unit development. I would like to go ahead and have Lennar please step up.
That's not really, Monty, that's not the mayor's motion. That's a proposed motion.
That's correct. Okay, so at this time, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Lennar, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Mayor and council members, we appreciate the appreciate the opportunity to present our plans and our petition to you today. My name is Lisa Wagoner. I'm an attorney representing Cal Atlantic and Lennar. Present with me are Rick Murphy, a land planning and entitlements manager for Lennar. We also have our engineer, Madeline Larman from Mackey Consultants, Rich Olson from Gary R. Weber and Associates, and Michael Worthman from KLOA. And we have extra backup for any other questions. So we absolutely are excited to provide this petition and this development to the city. It is a project, as you know, from the staff reports, which has a lot of detail. So I won't belabor where this is or where it came from. It was annexed in 2005. And the plan was actually for a similar residential development and some commercial. So we came a year ago plus, gave some concept plans. We've been working really hard with staff, been through many engineering reviews, meetings. And so we're here today to ask you to approve our rezoning of all the property to the RS3 district, a preliminary plat approval, and a conditional use permit for a preliminary planned unit development. So without further ado, I think it would be best I will introduce Rick Murphy, who will be able to kind of take you over the overview of the project, and then we'll move over to some of our other consultants to give you more detail.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to apologize for my voice today. I'll do my best. If you can't understand me or hear me, let me know. Yeah, well, we've been here probably before. We first came here in, I think, 2019, maybe, Legend Lakes. We finished that out. We finished out the townhomes of Legend Lakes. And locally, we've worked in a whole ton of communities in McHenry County: Woodstock, River Woods, Crystal Lake, Woodlore Towns, Waterside at Three Oaks, Antioch, well, that's Lake County, but Talamore and Huntley, Prairie Grove. We're working on a brand new community in Walnut Hollow. So a ton of experience in the market and in the area. And as you know, Lennar is a national home builder, and we're publicly traded. More, I just tell you that we are the largest in the Chicago area, working in about 55 communities now, actually from Northwest Indiana all the way up to Madison, Wisconsin. So we have a lot of experience. We have one of the best teams in the market. And my compliments to the staff and the engineering team that has reviewed this project. A lot of work has gone into the planning process, a lot of back and forth with staff and what each other's needs are and everything else. And I think what I'd like to do is let Rich Olson talk about the site. The site features and amenities is a very special project. Together, we work on a lot of communities. We want to come into a place and have people drive in and say, I want to live here. And we've come up with something very special that recognizes the natural amenities that are here already. And we worked with it and come up with a great plan. Lennar has a lot of resources as far as the other thing is vertically integrated company. So we have our own mortgage company. We aim to get people into homes. So we start homes on a regular basis. We basically what we call is a level scheduling. We go on a regular, and we actually, most of our homes are already started. So we call them quick move-ins. You'll see in the process of, someone comes out to our Welcome Home Center, they're going to find 15 or 20 homes to pick from. And our folks that select the model, select the elevations, colors, and everything, know what people are looking for, and we have something for them. So I'll get onto that a little bit more later after Rich gives you a little bit of a lowdown on the site planning. Thank you.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Excellent. Again, my name is Rich Olson. I'm with Gary R. Weber Associates. We're landscape architects, land planners, and environmental consultants out of Wheaton, Illinois. First of all, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to come before you and talk about the plan and hopefully get some good feedback as we continue through the process. What I thought I would do is very briefly walk you through some existing conditions and planning factors that we use to help prepare the plan, walk you through the plan itself and some of the landscape features that we're proposing for you tonight. So as you know, the site is approximately 300 acres. It's located north of Bull Valley Road, and South Kern Road runs right straight down through the center of it, bisecting it into roughly 2 equal parts of about 150 acres. Go to the next slide. This is a little bit of planning factors showing the aerial of the site in a little bit more clear version so you can see it. Some of the arrows are denoting the flow patterns of the water, and some of the, like the yellow, are proposing access points into the site itself. I'll just talk from east to west for now. So the east side of the property is, again, about 150 acres. It's currently being farmed. It's got residential to the north of it, to the east of it, and it's got Boone Creek as a central feature that runs north-south through the site itself. Some of the things that we look at when we're looking at property, we always look at, is there good access from both vehicular and pedestrian standpoint? And this site on the east side has excellent access, both off of Bull Valley Road, as well as connecting streets from the adjacent subdivisions, which is the trend of development coming in this direction, from both the east as well as from the north. If you go across the street to the western portion of the site, back to the east side, from a drainage standpoint, everything drains toward the creek. So the high points are furthest away from the creek that drains down. So you're going to see the detention ponds, of course, closer to the creek itself. On the west side, it has a similar situation regarding the access. It has excellent access off of Bull Valley and Curran. It also has really good access from the neighboring community. It has stub ins from it, from both the north and from the west itself. It is currently being farmed as well, and there virtually is nothing else on that particular portion of the site. It's void of vegetation, except for the farming practice that it currently has in its current state. And again, it has good access from all points of view from a pedestrian and vehicular standpoint. So you're going to have good main entrances off of either Bull Valley or Kern Road itself. This particular site drains a little bit differently than the east side. So essentially, some of it drains to the north, some of it drains to the west, and a little bit of it drains to the east. So just to talk a little bit about the plan. So we're proposing 599 homes, 3 product types, an age-targeted product, as well as main entrances off of Kern and Bull Valley Road. We've got a major clubhouse with pool, fire pit, grill stations, many themed parks, which I'll talk a little bit about in more detail. Approximately 3 miles of walking trails and a large multi-use trail path along Bully Valley Road itself. This is such a large plan. What I thought I would do is just isolate the east side. So if we go to the next slide, because there's a lot to talk about. Actually, we're going to go to the west side first. Sorry. So the west side, you've got your main access coming off of the south, off of Bull Valley Road, and it immediately terminates into our clubhouse area right in the center. And that's sort of the heartbeat of the whole community development. That is where we're going to have also a tot lot. You're going to have a pool. You're going to have all sorts of amenities in the clubhouse area itself. Coming off of that, of the clubhouse area, you have these green trails or these spines that go north, east, and a little bit west. And those trail systems lead from that central green space amenity all the way up to the north, where you're going to have another community park up there. Call it a North Social Node, as if you'd like. As well as if you follow from the clubhouse east, there's also a greenway trail that goes all the way to the most easterly entrance off of Curran Road, where there's another park in that particular location. And I'll go into a little bit more detail. But what's really nice is this has been specifically designed to incorporate these green trailways throughout this site in this large master plan. We've craftily done it so that the idea is that you've got the large amenity, plus you have the amenities trails that lead you to these other park areas so that the residents can be close to an amenity as well as get right on a trail. Those trails don't interact with roads much, so there's a real nice feel to that as you go through the community itself. And as you can see before we go to the other slide, you got the detention basins to the north. That buffer is a really nice buffer between that and the community to the north. You've got detention to the southwest, and then you got a detention or an entrance facility right off of the main entrance off of Bull Valley, and another detention facility right off of Curran Road itself. And then all along Bull Valley, there's going to be a trail there as well. Go to the next one. So this is the east side. The east side has the creek that runs through it, which is a large amenity space. So the residents to the far east, and that's a traditional home style there that we're offering, has a main entrance off of Bull Valley Road, and it connects into the stub roads that come into it from the neighboring community to the east. All of the lots that back up to, or at least majority of them, are deeper lots that are adjacent to the residents to the east itself, which is nice. The nice thing about this particular spot, if you know this area, the homes that back up to that open space are going to be just dynamite homes. They're going to have, because there's a lot of grade change from those homes down to the creek, so you're going to have a real nice sunset. Conversely, on the west side, that's where our active adult community is. And that's a nice isolated pod. So you come off of Curran, which is the main access there. There's another one to the north. Both of those entryways terminate into park areas. So again, another park. And I don't have a pointer, but if you come off of both of those entrances and you go all the way to the end, you'll see a green space. And that's going to be a park area. You've got a pointer there. If you go all the way, yeah. And those parks are designed specifically for the active adult buyer. And this area is treated quite a bit different too. Like somebody says, well, what's an active adult? You actually don't have to mow your grass. So there's a fee for that, but it's geared toward that buyer that doesn't want to maintain their lots just like a regular single family home. So it's really nice living because everything's taken account for you from the maintenance. So it's a lot less maintenance free. So those parks are also designed for active adult users, and we'll get into those a little bit more detail. But the two parks are connected by another trail that goes into he's where his pointer is, and follows the creek edge all the way down and connects back up with the other trail. So that's going to create a really nice walking loop as you're walking by the open space, naturalized detention ponds, which are all, they're not open water, they're naturalized features. So they're going to have a lot of visual interest throughout the season. A lot of specific design goes into these detention ponds to really make them features in themselves. As well as if you back up to them, they really provide a nice amenity for you. And then those residents that back up to the creek on the west side will have a beautiful overlook to the creek itself and have that morning sun coming to them. And then, of course, again, you have the trail system all the way along the southern Bow Valley area that connects everybody east to west on a main feeder line, and then you connect up north-south in that direction. You can move on. I thought I'd give you a big picture of where the parks are located because it really helps to give you a sense of how spread out they are. You got this on the west side, you've got the clubhouse area that's connected to the northern park. You've got another trail that connects to the east side of that. You go across the street to the east side, 150 acres. You got two parks, north and south. One of the feedbacks that we got from the Plan Commission was, well, why don't you have something on the far east community? And we're like, well, let's go back and think about that. That was last week, so I don't have anything visual to show you, but we are going to add a park on that particular side too. So all the neighborhoods will be in close proximity to a park in their community, which would be super nice. If you go to the next slide. So this slide reinforces the green space and the open space connections again in red. You've got along the southern boundary, you got the multi-use trail. And then the red dashes, it's sort of hard to see, but they connect the park areas from east to west and again, north to south. And then of course, take advantage of Bull, from Bull Creek itself, or Boone Creek, I should say, sorry. The trail system is about 3 miles long in its totality. So it's a very significant feature throughout the site. And I think we're well, I know we are, we're very proud of that, of the way it's designed and the way it's put together so that it's all connected and integrated with this particular plan itself. Go to the next slide. So just to drill in for a couple seconds here on some of the park areas themselves. This is the clubhouse area. So you can see the clubhouse. It's got a nice parking lot. It'll have the pool area. It has a lot of passive and active recreation associated with it. So not only do you have the clubhouse itself, you've got an open fire pit, you got a nice seating area. You have the active play area just off to the north of it for all age groups. You also are in close proximity again to that trail system. So you can then get right on that trail system and go anywhere you want within the community. Very nice. And then the 3D images that you see to the right, those are right now kind of what we're proposing in a 3D format to give you a little bit better idea of what they look like. The real images there on the south, if you look at them closely, that's from Woodlore. Encourage you to go out to Woodlore. It's a community that they're very proud of, and there's a lot of these types of things in that same community with a clubhouse. This is the proposed clubhouse at this time. Very nicely done. It's got contemporary architecture to it. It's just got a lot of things going on for it. We're super proud to be able to offer a world-class amenity like this in this community. On the next slide. It's a view from the back showing the pool area and some of the amenities back there. It's going to be a fabulous spot to be a part of for sure. This is on the west side of the community, the far north park. It's a really nice, it's not just size for the tot lot area itself. It's also size so that you can go out there and throw a Frisbee around. There's that active component. You also have the ability to sit down and relax, get out of the way. I love these smaller social node parks because they're so close to everybody. And then you get on another one. If you don't like this one, you can go and experience the other one. You can go anywhere you want. There's just not one large area. Let's move on to the next one. This is off of the main entry off of Curran Road, again on the west side. And this backs up to the detention basin, another themed park. And all of these parks will be themed differently. So they'll have different play equipment in them. We do need to do some further design, but they're going to be, all unique in themselves and all themed, just be fabulous. And again, all connected to that pathway system that gets you everywhere. This is the park that's associated with the active adult facility. And so this one has amenities like a putting green. It's got the pickleball courts. It's got the bocce ball. It's got the things that the people that are in that area. Of course, I would say pickleball is becoming a mainstream sport now. So more and more people are enjoying it of all ages. But this is nonetheless in that spot over there, which is actually, it turns out it's in a nice spot because it's more isolated, backs up to the creek itself. And again, you can see that trail system that really loops around it and gives you access onto that. This particular one's the southern one, so then you would get on the trail and go north along the creek itself. And then as you go all the way to the north, this is that one all the way up to the north. This one has some exercise equipment associated with it, which I think is a nice touch. I think I would be more inclined just to walk by it, but I think the exercise equipment gives a nice touch to somebody who wants to be able to stretch, work out, and still be active in this particular case. And again, a large open space for reflecting, socializing, or just being in a calm space for sure. The entryways, we're going to spend extensive amount of resources to really create focal points into the community. They'll have landscape boulevards, nice monumentation that will create a sense of arrival for everybody. I think these will just be really nice entrances, not overstated, but something that's quality. We're going to use masonry. We're going to use stone, lots of landscaping. What Lennar really likes to do at their entrances, they really like to upsize the landscaping to really make that statement as you come off of the entries. And they put a significant amount of design effort and resources to those areas themselves. And just before I go to the last on the landscaping, I really haven't, there's so much going on here from a landscape standpoint, but everything from naturalized detention basins to large buffers along Bull Valley Road. It's just going to be a fabulous place to live, both from an amenity standpoint, from a landscape standpoint. This is really going to be a signature community for Lennar. We're super excited to be able to bring this to you guys, and hopefully you guys like it too. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. At this point, I think Rick would like to preview the models, the elevations, and go over some of the details about the proposed homes.
Thank you, Lisa. Sorry again. Yeah, so we've come up with breaking this down into 3 neighborhoods, basically, or 3 home type products. Like we said before, very integrated. We figured out how to get people in homes. So mortgage rates, we often buy them down to introductory prices like 3.99 to 5.99, depending on the mortgage climate. So we can get people in homes better than existing homes, and also a lot of other builders. So this is the Horizon lineup, and I think I'll just go these real quickly. These are 3 or 4 bedroom homes ranging from 1,400 square feet to about 2,600 square feet, 1 and 2 story homes. These do have a 3-car garage option. Typically, I think not everyone, but most of them will have a 3-car option. So maybe go to the next slide and I'll show you. These are the various elevations that you get just out of 2-car garages. When you get in adding into the 3-car garages, not only do you get 4 elevations, but you get even more than that. So we can just flip through a sample of a few of the homes on the next few pages. So just keep going. It's fine. If any of you are familiar with Woodstock, River Woods, these are the homes that we're building over there. So next up is the age targeted. This is the sample products for that. We have 3 elevations of each. These are typically 2 or 3 bedrooms. So, and 3 elevations of each. So this is how we get our diversity. And like Rich said, those will have maintenance, basically no fences in the area, and snow and grass removal. So a few sample elevations in here. I think with some interiors maybe. And the other thing is our level of finish is typically quartz countertops, vinyl plank flooring, and you can upgrade a certain level. But this is what we generally call everything's included. So when you see a model, floor plan, model setup, that's pretty much the options you get available. So our people do start a lot of homes. They start them and then get things going. So let's look at the next one. Bad name, but these are five models, 3 or 4 bedroom homes, ranging from, and these would be on a slab and not a basement necessarily. Definitely a more affordable series, ranging from about 1,200 square feet to about 2,200 square feet. 2-car garages, 3 elevations of each, and we can flip through these as well. This is our anti-monotony program, and I think this is what we used over Legend Lakes. Basically how this works is you cannot have the same elevation in the red if you have in the gray spot. You have to change the elevation and the colors too, according to these charts. So that's how that works. I think the next one is basically showing the neighborhoods. So the horizon that we showed you first is in the yellow zones. The active adult, like Rich told you before, is on the west side of the creek. And the core, more affordable, is in the blue. So with that, I think we're open for some questions if we have any from the council.
Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and open it for questions by the city council at this time. Any questions, comments? Alderman Bainey?
I just would like to make some comments. This development has kind of been in planning for about 20 years, and I can't imagine it having come to the community looking this wonderful back then. If I were to make a list of things that I wanted to see in a development, I feel like this contains them all. There's so much green space. The interconnectivity and the bike paths and walking paths would just be ideal for families, in my opinion. I love the multiple entrances and ways to access the communities. I think that's really going to do a lot in terms of traffic and access to getting in and out. I love the active adult, but I just feel like the entire community promotes something that's really been a passion of mine, is just making sure that we are creating healthy lifestyle living for the residents in McHenry. And I think this really does that. And I agree, the properties that are going to be along those retention areas, and especially Boone Creek, are going to be absolutely beautiful. I think you've done a really nice job. I know there's a lot of concerns, and I'm interested in hearing those, but I really think that this is a really well-designed community.
Thank you. Alderman Doherty.
Thank you.
Just a question of the parks. Are the parks owned and maintained by Lennar, your development, HOA type of structure, or will they come to the city of McHenry?
All the common areas are planned to be owned and maintained by the HOA.
Okay. And then my other question would be the clubhouse. Construction of the clubhouse, how is that timed with the construction of the homes? I mean, a lot of times you'll see a delay in that. You know, you'll have the promise of a clubhouse, yet the homeowners are waiting. How's the timing of that?
Well, that's the good part about our experience. You know, we develop about 2,500 home sites a year, 17 or 18 miles of roadway. So we will probably look to work with the city to get an early start on the clubhouse, because we know it takes longer. You know, a home might take 5 months to get built. This would take a few more months. We would love to get it. You know, if we get the grading ready, get the infrastructure hard surface in that we need to do to get to that and start construction, we would love to do that and work with the city to make that happen.
Thank you.
Alderman Bassi.
Thank you. Because this proposed development is in my ward, I attended the Planning and Zoning meeting on May 20th, along with 47 other residents who oppose this development. I wanted to address the 3 reasons the majority of Planning and Zoning Commission supported the development, which are open space, improved park and recreational amenities, and the addition of owner-occupied single-family housing opportunities within the community. For open space, the site's future land use designation is conservation residential development. The only real conservation in this site is the wetland, and that is not a buildable tract of land. Doug, could you please show page 93 of the comprehensive plan? I don't think that's page. This is what 93 looks like.
I think you just clicked the link that you sent.
All right, well, I will continue with, so for time reasons. Page 93 of the comprehensive plan states, quote, "Conservation development is a design strategy to preserve undivided, buildable tracts of land as communal open space for the public and environment. This open space is in addition to the landscaping and park/open space dedications required by code for typical developments in this city." End quote. This site plan does not include enough open space to qualify as conservation residential development. It also categorizes land as open space, and that is not open space. Doug, if you can show the city's definition. That's okay, Doug, I'll just read it all. Per the ordinance, common open space does not include buildings, pavement, or off-street parking. Because of this, significant portions of the planned parks are not considered open space, including the clubhouse, pickleball courts, and the clubhouse parking lot. Additionally, per city ordinance, only 50% of wet stormwater basins and 75% of dry stormwater basins are considered open space because they are required for infrastructure, so they are not true open space. The planned unit development chapter of the city's ordinance states that, quote, "The establishment of open space amenities such as playing fields, playgrounds, swimming pools, and fitness facilities," end quote, does not mean that these amenities count as city-defined open space. These are suggested amenities on open space. The definition of open space clearly states that the net area, not gross area. So while these amenities can be added on the site plan, they do not count as city-defined open spaces and need to be deducted from the city's open space number. This is actually the county's conservation. To be considered conservation residential development, McHenry County's ordinance requires a minimum of 50% of the site area be open space. Until the Unified Development Ordinance is completed, it would be prudent to follow the county's guidelines. For the improved park and recreational amenities, this site plan trades the necessary preservation of open space for excessive recreational amenities. This is a debatable asset to the community because there are a significant amount of recreational amenities, but those are private amenities. Many of the amenities in this site plan include the clubhouse and the outdoor pool are expensive to maintain. As they age, so the affordable home ownership that this development is intended to provide will be less affordable once the builder phase is completed and the HOA is turned over to the residents. Adding to that, while researching Lennar's master plan communities last week, I learned a potential issue that needs to be addressed is ownership of the clubhouse and the outdoor pool. All amenities need to be guaranteed in writing to be fully turned over by Lennar to the resident-led HOA at no additional fee after the builder phase is completed. If Lennar does not provide that guarantee, these amenities need to be removed from the site plan. For the addition of owner-occupied single-family housing opportunities with the community, not necessarily. In August 2025, Lennar launched the Lennar Investment Marketplace, a digital marketplace for landlords to purchase new Lennar homes as retail investments. Each property listed includes analytics such as the estimated rent, the estimated 5-year investment return, with everything from financing to property management done through the digital platform. Per an August 18th, 2025 Fast Company article, this marketplace was launched after unsold completed single-family new construction hit a 15-year high in June 2025. And that's what I'm talking right here. The home listings on the investor marketing place are not restricted to regions. With excessive housing stock, though, I created an account this morning and printed out a list of Lennar homes in Crystal Lake and in Volo. Because of the Lennar investor marketing place, owner-occupied housing is far from guaranteed. In the 1990s, when Boone Creek neighborhood was being developed, I was part of an organization of residents who opposed the housing development due to increased traffic and the destruction of wetlands and open space along Boone Creek. Alderman Glab was also heavily involved with this. We were very fortunate at that time that then Mayor Steve Kuda slowed down the approval process and prioritized working with the residents on a compromise. These negotiations are why a significantly larger portion than originally planned of the wetlands are saved. A large green belt that included the Fox Ridge Park existed between Fox Ridge neighborhood and the Boone Creek neighborhood, and the Dartmoor Bridge is curved to prevent speeding, the last of which was Mayor Kuda's recommendation. Mayor Jett, after the residents have finished speaking, I am going to request you follow the example of your predecessor, Mayor Kuda, and recommend tabling this vote to allow significant time for the city to work with the neighboring residents on a better site plan that addresses their concerns and requires the developer to include significantly more open space, significantly less density, and a significant green belt barrier between the existing homes and the new home development similar to the one separating Fox Ridge and Boone Creek neighborhoods. The Pearl Street Commons housing development vote was tabled in April to make the requested improvements. There is no valid reason the city cannot table this vote tonight and work with the neighboring residents on a compromise. We work for the residents, not the developer, and we need to address their concerns.
With those comments, does staff or Lennar want to respond to any of that at this time?
I can just say, I understand the open space. We've had many conversations about that, but the current PUD ordinance does not require a specific percentage. So, right now we're looking at, if we did some reductions, first of all, the definition that was read, unfortunately, we call this a ghost definition. This is why we're creating a new UDO. This was created in 1986. In 2005, we got rid of what we called our IDD district and replaced it with a PUD district. This definition was not removed from the ordinance, which it probably should have been. Because when you get into the PUD ordinance, it talks about the open space amenities, including pools and parkland and stuff like that, where this definition kind of conflicts with that. So again, a good reason and a good example as to why we're doing the UDO. But again, in our PUD ordinance, we do not require a percentage of open space. So that is part of the PUD. That's up to the city council here as a group to determine if what they're presenting to you is enough. So, we've heard from Alderwoman Bassey, would like to see more. If the other council members feel that same way, then that's the decision that you guys make. The PUD does not have a specific open space requirement.
Thank you. Alderman Miller. Oh, you want to respond? Go ahead. Perfect.
I
Thank
just
you.
thought I would just add from a land planning standpoint.
Thank you.
The development is about 2 units per acre, which is considered low density for the development. And depending on how you calculate the open space, it's anywhere from 37 to 46% open space. Very significant. Generally, open space communities generally look at 30% as a number to be open space. So we're providing not only a large master plan with parks that are open space. They're not open space per your definition, but they're currently open space. So it's a subjective thing that we feel is relevant here regarding the topic of that. And our plan as it stands, I think we're super proud of it. We're super proud of the amenities. We're super proud of the design and the way we've gone about it. And there's a significant amount of open space in the plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Miller.
Thank you for your presentation. I wish that the picture that is currently on the screens could be wider and larger. And it would go along with my comment that this proposed development, although all development is difficult because it changes the dynamic of a community. But when you look at a development like this and you compare it to what's around it, it actually presents more open space than Legend Lakes, than Boone Creek, than Winding Creek. When I look at those communities from a 30,000 foot bird view, this provides much more green space than any of those communities, which are obviously already built out and done nicely. So I enjoy, as Alderwoman Bainey said, the fact that you're building an interconnected community through your planned parks, your planned recreation, and your path that connects it all. I think that's good thinking. We could sit here and argue all night long, is that a dry basin or a wet basin by the time Boone Creek gets down there? I've lived here a very long time. I would bet to guess it's dry more than it's wet. And you've given it great birth for whatever it does to do. I think that is going to be an amazing place to back up to. I think those homes that are there, both on your Horizon platform and your Adair platform, are going to enjoy the wildlife, the cranes, the deer, the fox, the things that wander through the creek just as their natural habitat. I'm very pleased with what I see. I also want to just say for the public's information that and I'm in real estate, there are many builders who try to take on a project like this and fail halfway through. Lennar has done well in many of our communities. I've visited most of your communities just through the basis of doing my business, and I find that you stand behind your product. So again, I like what I see. I like the continuity. I like the fact that it fits from that 30,000 foot view. It blends the best of a lot of things in what could have been a difficult parcel to work on. You didn't have to take both parcels. You could have picked one side, but you chose to pick both and try to incorporate a lot of good ideas. So I'm pleased with what I see, and I think that the community will welcome it as well.
Listen, hey, listen. Let's be professional, okay? Let everyone speak. You're going to have your opportunity. Any other comments by council? Questions? Yeah. Alderman Glenn.
Thank you. Again, a little history on this. The Jurstads came for this property in the first place. They had to come to the council 3 times just to get annexed in with the concepts. And again, it was just a concept. I mean, they had the commercial on the corners, which are now gone as far as this plan shows. But again, you take a look at a lot of the green space that's over here, it's detention ponds because it's been engineered. When Jurstad first brought this at 550 homes, it wasn't even engineered. And now we're looking at an extra almost 10% more homes than what was projected then. And they want smaller lots with bigger houses. You know, when it first came with the idea of smaller lots, I figured, geez, we're going to have some nice starter homes in McHenry. Well, you know what? You're not building starter homes. You're building 4 and 5 bedroom homes. You take a look at, I look at these charts and say that who's buying 4 bedroom homes and only 3.764 average population is generated in a 4 bedroom home? Not even one person per bedroom. It's remarkable. I mean, you know, I don't know where these facts come from. And then I take a look at the schools, and staff is saying, oh, it's going to be a lot lower than that. But I mean, K-5, 262 students is what you're looking at a total. Well, where are they going? Riverwood? Riverwood has a capacity of 600. You can't tell me that they're down to half. Maybe they're down a lot, and they will come back. But we're talking 262. So what are we talking about? We're talking another referendum for another school out there on the property that they own out on that side of Curran Road. I mean, it doesn't help to take and add, you know, another 10% as far as the amount of homes that we're talking in there. And maybe we need the the little extra green space that Alderwoman Bassey was talking about, if we're going to shrink those lots, we're not shrinking the lots to accommodate more growth. We're shrinking the lots to create more green space. And that isn't what's happening. What's happening is we shrink the lots a little bit. Instead of quarter-acre lots, let's make them smaller, and that way we can fit more in. That isn't the idea of making smaller lots. Now, I want to focus on going onto the east side of the creek. We've all known that Winding Creek eventually would, be expanded out. I have some reservations. I'm glad to see it isn't a straight shot all the way up. However, I don't like the idea of Abbey being connected at all, because now you're talking about an access into the rest of the subdivision over there. As far as people wanting to cut through, heck, why would I go all the way up to Winding Creek when I can cut down Abbey and then eventually wind up at Winding Creek and probably be a shorter distance? So what are you doing? You're promoting more traffic through subdivisions. And I know, talking with staff, that our whole idea is to have interconnecting subdivisions everywhere in the city. And why? Why do we take and build new development that almost always impacts the neighborhoods that have been created several years back? That isn't what we should be doing. We should be building for the future, but we should also be building to protect what we have now and the type of living that we have in the city of McHenry. And we're not. We're not protecting the residents that are here. And that disturbs me greatly. And without a couple of changes in here, you'll never get my vote. You won't get it without reducing those 50, and you won't with Abbey being connected either.
Any other comments, questions by council? All right, not this time. All right, before we begin public comment on this agenda item, I want to remind everyone that each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the council. To ensure that we can hear from as many people as possible. Yeah, go ahead.
On some of the comments that the council has had, I would like to see kind of suggestions like, Andy, you have a lot of good information. What would be those suggestions so that the builder can come back with those, right? So something I just want to make sure that if, when we're done with this, that we come out with something constructive, not
Yep,
just.
we will.
Okay.
We will. Thank you. I ask that speakers avoid repeating comments and concerns that have already been expressed. And this is only to make the meeting go more efficiently. I also expect everyone in attendance to remain respectful throughout this discussion. Please refrain from talking, clapping, shouting, or making disruptive comments while others are speaking. Let's make it professional. We are here to listen to all viewpoints in a professional manner. Anyone who becomes disruptive or fails to follow these rules may be asked to leave the meeting so that we can continue conducting the public's business in an orderly fashion. So at this time, I'll go ahead and open up for public comment by the public. You will have 3 minutes, and we'll go ahead and get started. So who would like to step up first? Sir? I would ask that you state your name and address for public record.
Good evening. My name is David Arvayo. I'm with Painters Union. I have seen time and time again. And one thing that I urge the citizens too is do a quick search about homeowner complaints, Lennar lawsuits. Currently, I believe they have a big lawsuit for 500 effective homes in Florida. So that, I think that city council says that's an important consideration. That's not just the birds in the open spaces, but it's also the homeowners that you're going to have live in those houses potentially. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, right there. If the next person wants to step up and get ready, you can certainly do that.
Hi, I'm Michael Knudsen. I live in Boone Creek. And my question is this, off of the west side of Kern Road, Legend Lakes has one heck of a setback where the white fence is. And I noticed in the photos, they don't have this any consideration up to Bull Valley Road. My understanding is the county at one time decided that we might have a 4-lane highway change the width of Kern Road to accept a bypass off of 31 through up Boone Creek. And so I like to see that setback continued from where Legend Lakes is on off of Dartmoor to Bull Valley Road, if that's possible.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Matt Matusik. I live on Eaglewood Trail, which is at the northern end of your proposed subdivision. I understand that we talk about our current PUD and what we can do and what we have to do, okay? But just because it's written down does not mean we have to stick to that agenda, okay? All we're asking is for a little bit of consideration to the existing subdivision for a peaceful transition between the old and the new in order for us to help get along with you, okay? Would I prefer you're not there? Of course I wouldn't. I look out my back deck, okay, and I get to look at a field. I understand that that's going to change. It's been that way. I was the first house in there in 1998. And, you know, I've rolled the dice this far and this long, and I've survived that long looking at what I get to look at, okay? Time marches on, I get that. But then even on top of the smooth transition and the traffic burden is what scares me the most, okay? And I know you can ask the deputy chief and the officer over there. Kern Road and Bull Valley Road are high volume roads for both speed and traffic incidents, okay? So how are you going to manage that? How are you going to manage the influx of cars into that area, into that subdivision? If you ever know, if you're going eastbound on Bull Valley Road in the morning, it backs up almost to the bridge, okay? So how do we handle the traffic situation there, okay? Lastly, when we talk about the water, I was unaware of the other items on the agenda, but you're putting this subdivision in or attempting to put this one in, the Ryan Home subdivision, connecting to the McCollum Lake, water line connecting into McCollum Lake. At what point is enough to drain from what is already there till we better manage what we already have, okay? Multiple subdivisions are coming in here. Have we planned? Has our water department planned for the increased usage and all that good stuff? All I'm asking for is we slow down a little bit, make sure we have our eggs in a basket, and then if the subdivision does go ahead, please consider to complete that walking path on the east side, consider that to be a loop, okay? Because right now it ends and it gives no consideration to the southern homes, to the homes at the south of the existing Boone Creek subdivision, okay? If the photo moved, it gives no consideration for the people that are there. If you were to put the walking path on what is a natural easement and allowed for a little bit of a buffer, you'd probably be, met with a whole lot less resistance. Just consideration for those of us that have lived there since I lived there since 1998. I was the first house in there. But it's not really about me. It's about everybody in my neighborhood behind us and what we have to deal with. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Hello, Ross Quartermash, 5921 Eaglewood Trail. Lennar, thank you for your presentation. It is a beautiful neighborhood, but however, I believe it is way too big for what our community is as McHenry. I mean, we're a close-knit community that does a lot for each other, and 600 homes on 2 ways in and out is going to be a tall task to handle for that part of the neighborhood. Just kind of echoing what Matt was saying is being on Eaglewood Trail. During the zoning hearing, we understood that all of the foliage and everything behind our houses is going to be pretty much demoed and taken completely out. So I want to know during that process if there's going to be any damage to fencing, to sheds, to landscape of anything of that sort that comes up to our property. Disruptions in water, disruptions in any type of electricity, any type of communication with digging, and especially digging in the capacity that they're going to be digging. How long is this project going to take? What's the cost of these homes going to be? Because by the pictures that I saw, these do not look like starter homes at all. They look like, $500,000 homes that
people who have already owned homes are going to have. So, and again, too, I also echo the sentiment of thousands of lawsuits against this company right now for improper builds. So, let's pull this back. Let's understand what we're getting into, and 600 homes, packed into that small area right there, I think is too much. I think we can do a great service to the community by growing our community with a beautiful neighborhood there, but 600 homes is too many. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. Ralph Annetton, 515 London Trail, Boone Creek. Well, they kind of hit my bullet points. You're proposing a senior community on the east side of Curran Road. How are these people? We have enough accidents all the time on Curran Road at Dartmoor. How are these people going to get across the street is one of my concerns. Are we adding another light? Are we putting a bridge? Where's the traffic conformity there? I mean, we already changed the configuration at Dartmoor, right, in Curran, because of the accidents there. There's been many accidents, mostly pedestrian. My second question is, obviously, it's a private community. For the most part, we can't use the pools. Can we, the parks? How does that access us? How do we use the green space? How do we walk through that? I mean, where do we get involved on the other side of Boone Creek and Dartmoor? How do we annex that? Another question I do have is, we don't have enough retail on the south end of McHenry. We don't have a grocery store down there. We don't have anything. How does that going to impact, let's just say Jewel for the example? The Jewel ain't going to handle all these people on a holiday weekend or any other time. We need more of that, I believe, down here on this side of town than on the other side of town. Again, I don't want to, these guys hit on my bullet points. And again, the schools, that's the key thing, schools, and that's going to affect our taxes. If there's not going to be enough school space for these kids. That's families. And again, like the guy said, you want to conform the fencing all the way down. You're in Legend Lakes, you know better. So, I mean, we need to keep the structure of what McHenry is and what I moved to 23 years ago. That's why I came here. So, and the price range of these houses, that is a concern. And you're saying in that blue section is going to be starter homes. Are they going to be rental homes? We don't need that, and might as well have B&Bs right there. So I guess that's all. I don't want to reiterate what the other gentleman had said. My concern is traffic. Oh, and the other thing is too, that the creek itself, you say it's dry. Well, that last rain we had, it was moving. And my house, my sump pump still hasn't stopped. So who's clearing that? Who's going to maintain that? That's a big concern to me because it's always overgrown. Water's being held back. There's not a good flowage to that. That needs to really be looked at too, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Good evening. My name is Ambrose Kittle. I live at 5409 Winding Creek Drive in McHenry, Illinois. A gentleman earlier did talk about water and all these developments that we have. There was a time in the early 2000s when the city and the county, other cities in the county got together where we're severely short on water, and there was a big problem where we were going to get water. And we finally got rain that took care of that, brought our water tables up. But there was a time this city was concerned that we were going to run out of water. Do we have enough water capability in this town for the rest of us? We're here. I hope you guys keep that in mind. That, and we have to hold these guys accountable to putting up stoplights. If you're going to build, we need stoplights. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kathy Backus. I live at 104 South Curran Road. My husband, it was
Boone Creek was my husband's family farm, and he worked with the city of McHenry to get it developed and annexed to the city. And he had a lot of big meetings and problems that went on to get that done. And they negotiated the extra green space for the parks, and they had to dedicate some land for schools, which reverted to the parks because they didn't use it. And I just think this new development is like very more densely populated than the Boone Creek subdivision is. And I would like to see more green space, because basically the Boone Creek area is a wetlands floodplain. So it can't really be used by people to do activities in it, because it's, you know, all grown up with trees and it's a wetland. So, and I'm also concerned about the traffic, because Kern Road was supposed to be on the westerly bypass, and that was never built. The base of the road is still the old township, McHenry Township Road. And with all the extra traffic and with all the huge construction equipment that's going to come on the roadway, it's going to beat the roads up and cause maybe the taxpayers to have to go ahead and replace the roadway and pave it sooner. I know they probably didn't do much with that because they were going to intend to do the road as a 2 lanes in each direction with a grassy median bypass around the whole city. And that was never built. And so the traffic is terrible right now and lots of accidents. The last snowstorm we had along Curran Road, I ended up with 2 people in the ditch in my front yard. So, but that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dan Wyack, 5503 Creekside Court, McHenry, Illinois. I've got a couple concerns. Pretty much the sales pitch today that I got from Lennar, and I'm not opposed to having homes built in the neighborhood at all. But the sales pitch today basically is cutesy, cutesy, cutesy. We're going to have parks. We're going to have everything pitched with the pool. We're going to have everything. But we didn't really talk about anything that we talked about at the last meeting about correcting traffic issues, problems. We didn't talk about a lot of different things, home prices. What are the values of the homes going to be? Nothing has been mentioned about the prices of homes. Nothing's been mentioned about the prices of the HOAs. What are the concerns on the HOAs? What are the qualifications for them as far as limitations of the people that are buying the houses? What are they going to be limited to on the HOAs? I just think that that's something that should be brought up. I mean, today's pitch was basically about everything being cute and an improvement to the village. I mean, it's a nice idea, but I think we got away from the building aspect of it and the traffic aspect of it, which is what we brought up at the last meeting, and nobody mentioned anything about traffic changes or anything being done. That's all I got.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. My name is Dale Moore, 6703 Bull Valley Road, directly across from the project on the west side. I live on the south side of Bull Valley Road. I'd like to make a correction that the land is not currently being farmed. It was last year. I imagine you were hoping to get this rubber stamp so that the farmer didn't have to do it, but that's just one thing. This dawned on me during the zoning meeting, which I was disappointed it got rubber stamped so fast with only one vote opposing it. But the adult active homes are senior homes, and we see in all the projects with senior homes that the older people tend to get golf carts. And I was looking at the picture of the clubhouse at the last meeting. I took a picture of it. And there's parking there, but there's not enough parking for an event going on in that clubhouse for the residents of 600 homes. Especially the older people are going to drive their golf carts because they're not going to jump in their cars from the east side to get on Bull Valley Road or cut across Curran to come in the neighborhood from the backside. So that's just one other thing that
it dawned on me that there's going to be more golf carts driving around the roads along with the cars. The number of cars during rush hour in the morning and in the afternoon are a major concern of mine. Living on Bull Valley Road, just like Kern Road, they're very, very busy roads. And unlike Kern Road, the speed limit on Bull Valley Road is not enforced, and it 70 is about the average speed that we see on Bull Valley Road. So I'm concerned that there aren't left-hand and right-hand turn-in lanes prospectively for heading east to turn in left and heading west on Bull Valley to turn in right for both entrances and on Current, because traffic already backs up. And like I said in the last meeting, my wife almost got rear-ended by somebody who didn't see her turning into our driveway, and he was pulling a Bobcat, and he went off the road at 55 miles an hour and went around her. I don't know how he didn't cream her in the back. And for most of the residents that I've spoken to who live in the city, I do not, so I can't vote for any of you people, whether you're for it or against it. And I do appreciate Mr. Bassi, Miss Bassi, and Andy Glab, because we fought Legend Lakes and the whole Shamrock Farm things. I've been on the property since 1990, and everybody on the south side of Bull Valley Road, which is county in Nunda Township, has acreage. So we're going to be looking at these pretty small lots, especially in the blue section. They're very tiny. They look like townhomes, but they're single family because they're going to be so narrow. I would ask you to postpone this vote and reconsider some changes like everybody has been bringing up. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Melissa Matusik, and I live at 5905 Eaglewood Trail, which butts up against the back part of the east side of the subdivision. That area right in there, and where you're proposing all the red lines on one of those other pictures, those are all walking trails. And I don't understand why the walking trails would need to be on such busy roads like Kern Road and Bull Valley Road, instead of having them move back into where the existing homes are to have that friendly transition. We know we're not going to stop this subdivision, but to at least have a friendly transition between the Boone Creek subdivision and this subdivision with some of those other walking trails, some more open space. But then also there is a road that goes through Newport. So if you've ever been in Boone Creek subdivision, Dartmoor is just as bad as Kern Road. People speed down that all the time. You hear all of the drag racing that goes up and down on Kern Road, all the racing cars that go down on Dartmoor Drive. We have dogs, or other people are walking on these streets every day, all day, in the summertime, even in the wintertime. There's a safety issue. If there is something that can be done to at least stop some of that traffic, because they're going to come down Dartmoor, they're going to come right down Newport, which is going to go right into that subdivision, because they're going to stop going onto Kern Road. They're going to stop going onto Bull Valley Road. They're going to cut through our subdivision, and they're going to cause a lot more traffic issues. Again, we live around that area, but there's a lot of people that live on that area too, and it's a safety issue. And if we can have some kind of, when this first came to be in 2005, because I've lived in this house since 1998, we were the first house that was built in the Boone Creek subdivision. That whole area was supposed to be the park. So how come the park couldn't be towards that area so that other people can enjoy that park and not just be in this area? We have a lot of wildlife that is on that lake or creek. The coyotes are there, the deer are there, you name it, the fox are there. They will be displaced, obviously, but it is not just this dead area of space. There is a creek there, and there are people that live there, and we're asking for consideration for the people who do live here and the animals that we have, and the animals and the children that our whole subdivision has, and just if we can have at least some kind of transition and safety.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Carol Harrington. I live at 505 Brookwood Trail, and it sounds like we are one of the oldest residents here. We built that house in 1986, so we've been there 40 years. If I look at the map correctly, it looks like there are two houses that back up to my lot. And I think the density is too big. I was wondering if they would consider putting a berm behind all of the properties that already have housing on them. And when we went to planning and zoning, you stated that there would not be an impact on the schools or the road, that the road could handle it. And I find that very hard to believe. I'm wondering if they can create a fund that would pay for the possibility that there are going to be more students and for the roads. And the traffic is unbelievable. We cannot even get out of our subdivision a lot of times. So those are my comments. There is a 10-foot easement right behind our property as far as I know.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Joseph Velez, 6920 Waterford Drive, McHenry. So I just recently found out about this, and that's my fault. But some of the concerns that I've been hearing tonight are certainly valid. I really respect the two alderperson talking about the conservation space and the density of the communities. We live in the Legend Lake subdivision where the traffic has increased over the 15 years that we've lived there. The drag racing going on around our subdivision has now moved into the subdivision, and these cars are now racing through the area that's densely populated with children. I know the police have set up speed zones on the roads. We mostly see them in the morning. I'm sure they're there in the evenings, but you go out there 6, 7 o'clock in our backyard and you can hear these cars racing around like crazy. And they're driving through the neighborhoods doing the same thing. Our concern is the density of the neighborhood, 1,200 square foot homes and what that's going to bring in, and the significant amount of additional traffic that's going to be coming through. And in the mornings and in the evenings, the traffic is pretty significant now. I can only imagine with 600 more homes what that's going to do. We came to McHenry to live in a space that wasn't like Chicago, and we'd really love to see that preserved. We don't want to live into a new Wrigley Field. Not only am I not a Cub fan, but I don't want to be around that kind of density. So I would certainly like the council to consider what that would turn McHenry into with that amount of additional homes, that amount of additional cars, and everything that comes along with it. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Good evening. My name is Ramon Gregorio. I served the city for 23 years, plus 13 years as a police commissioner. I moved here because I became a policeman. And you're right. In 1985, I used to write 15 to 20 tickets on speeding alone. And that's a lot in 1985. But my concern, I love your concept. I love the homes. But the density is too much. If you could move it down a little bit. We don't have anything against your development. It's a beautiful concept. And I could see faces here that I used to serve with. Alderman Glubb, how are you? That's the only person I know. So that's my only concern is the density and the movement of the people here. That will create a lot of crimes. They love to go and visit the nice home to burglarize. And you have to be concerned about it. So thank you. Nice meeting you all.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Gary Pierce. I am currently at 5508 Creekside Court across from Dan. And I've lived in this community for 31 years. And I'm currently retired, but I worked as a water operator for the village of Carpentersville and also for the city of Elmhurst. In the time that I worked for them, I realized that infrastructure is a big problem. When you look at how you go in and you make a development and how it impacts your infrastructure, okay? And when I worked for the city of Elmhurst, we ran into a problem where we had to have an interconnect. This is back before Lake Michigan water came west. And during that time, we had to have an interconnect, okay? An interconnect is where you connect to either a village's water or city's water, and that protects you from further abatement into your community. Your water pressure can drop off. Your sewer system can create all kinds of problems. I've gone through all kinds of meetings and I've been through this stuff. This is something that affects especially rural communities like ours. I love this community. I've been here for 31 years. And 31 years, I'll tell you what, people might complain about the crime, but man, I'll tell you what, I'm very proud of you, the way our community has conquered some of the things that other towns have not been able to conquer. But I will tell you this, going back to that development on Ringwood Road, where they want to put the senior community, having a deadhead on your system is going to end up costing McHenry big money, okay? If you got some way to loop that system, okay? Same thing with the new development. You have to have infrastructure to accommodate. Number one, you're going to lose water pressure, okay? You're going to end up, it's going to be on the village to deal with those problems in the future. This is something that I know about because I've dealt with it in 2 different cities that I work for, okay? When you have water pressure that affects your system, right now in Wonder Lake, there's a community that they're developing over there. I don't even know who the developer is. They got water pressure below 20 pounds per square inch. That's terrible water pressure. How would you like to have that in McHenry? This is something you have to consider. And that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. If anyone else would like to make a public comment, if you could please get behind this.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm Nellie Piper. I live at 5417 West Winding Creek, and I've lived there for over 30 years. And I hate talking in public, but I had to get up. There's a few things I wanted to mention. I know Lennar is here, and they're talking about their fabulous parks and their paths, walking paths. But first, I'm seeing the walking paths in red. Is that along Bull Valley Road in Curran? Because what's so wonderful about that? Walking along traffic with 1,200 cars zipping by you. The other thing with traffic people have mentioned, have we done studies with drones to see what our existing traffic is like? And can we handle at least 1,200 more cars? What would that be like for us? I think we're just growing too big, too fast. Then, sorry. The other thing, I live on Winding Creek. And at first I thought the subdivision going in off of Winding Creek, that'll only have 72 homes. But then I realized Winding Creek only has 100 homes on it. So our street size is going to double in size. We're going to have so much traffic. And as it is now, we have people just zipping up and down our roads with kids playing in the street. They don't care. And the other thing is, Dartmoor, at least when Boone Creek was developed, they back up to Dartmoor. Their houses back up. We face the road. And so we're going to be facing all that traffic. And I think that's wrong. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else for public comment? You sure? All right. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I know there's a few items that got brought up Would you like to respond to that, Rick, or your team, to any of those?
Yes,
Rich
and
can start off. Thank you.
I'll start off and take most of them. And I really appreciate the comments for sure. And we'll try and, if I forget some, we'll try and answer as most we can. I know we're gonna have to have somebody address, there are several comments on traffic. So we're gonna have to have somebody come up and talk about that. Rick's gonna talk about the HOA prices and the price of the homes. One comment on a lot of talk about density. Density is a value of how many homes per acre of the site. And a low density development is definitely considered in the 2 per dwelling unit per acre range. And we are 2 dwelling units per acre. So we're a very low dense community. The reason why it looks like there is a lot of homes because there's a lot of acreage. It's a lot of acreage. It's a big development broken up into 2 large tracts of land. And so it seems dense, but by any measure, it's low density. Parking for the clubhouse, we look at this a lot, and we look at it in all of our developments. We certainly will take another hard look at that for sure. I think this is a unique community, and we need to make sure that we have the right amount of parking. So we'll definitely look into that. But we feel that we've got enough parking at this time, but we certainly will look into that further. There was a question about fencing and landscaping along property lines. We take that very seriously. The property boundary at the time of construction is staked, and anything that is not on our property stays, including fencing. Anything that's on somebody else's property, or I should say that this a different way. Anything on somebody else's private property, we do not touch. Anything on our property, obviously we have a plan for, and we will be clearing out the areas that are on our property. The homes that are up against the east boundary line, which is a lot of the folks have talked about that east boundary line. There are 16 homes that are south of Cabot or Abbey Drive on the existing east property line, and we're proposing 16 homes. We're also proposing deeper lots than the rest of our development. So our normal depth on our lots are 127. We're proposing 140. So there's a much deeper setback from the existing adjacent homes in that particular space. There was a question about active adult section of it and the people that are living there. These are geared toward active adult people, hence the active part. These people are typically very active, very, I'm in my 50s. I think I can handle the traffic in that area. I'm not in need of assistance from that standpoint, but there is a concern from that. But the majority of the people who live here are active adult people. And there are some professionals that also will live in these types of communities. And so there will be some younger folks as well. It's not restricted, but it's definitely encouraged from that standpoint. There was a question about what about the parks and who can use them? They are private parks, but I think the saying goes, nobody's checking IDs. Nobody's going to hassle people. They are private parks, but they are, nobody's going to be sitting there going, you can't be here. So there's been a couple of comments about the preservation of open space, and I think this is very important. Boone Creek area is very sensitive ecological area. We are not only saving everything adjacent to Boone Creek, but all the wetlands that are adjacent to Boone Creek itself. We're also adding additional buffers above that to have more additional buffering against Boone Creek. And you can see by the design of the community, we're very sensitive. We have the detention ponds, which even serve as a greater buffer, transitioning from that particular situation. So the vegetation that's there now, all the wildlife, all that preservation is all there, and we're very sensitive to that. We could go through a process. We could have gone through a process of getting a lot more aggressive to those to Boone Creek, but we made a decision up front. We're not going to do that. So the product that you see now is preservation of all that land as well as the wetlands. There was a question about schools. I think and this is not coming from me, this was coming from the Plan Commission where they talked about a deficit of the schools currently and to the tone of about 1,000 students. And this development would be adding to decreasing that current deficit that they have. There's a flip side to it as well. The Indari section will not be adding as much. Those people tend to not have children in that community, so that will be less in that section. But there will obviously be addition to helping out the school system as it stands today. There was a question about connection to roadways that we have, especially on Abbey Drive and Winding Creek. Those are pre-planned by the city, and we follow that pattern just as they requested that we and follow that direction. Those connections are standard connections, just like we did on the west side. We followed the current plan that the city currently has. I think that's most of the things that I caught. I definitely want to, Rick can talk about the architecture. We can go to traffic or however you guys would like to.
Yeah, can I add a little bit about the paths? I think a lot of what people don't understand is we've been working a lot with staff. There's been a lot of discussion about long-term plans out there. I think I need a cup of water.
I was going to say.
Do you want me to take that for you?
Yeah, can you take care of that?
Right, so
question?
discussing the bike, these are bike paths along Kern Road and Bull Valley Road. Not, obviously they're walking paths as well, but the city and the county's long-term planning is for connectivity of these bike paths throughout the county. So ideally, you'd like to get from the west side of town, which is Legend Lakes, and this proposed Boone Creek development. You know, we would like to get you all the way to Moraine Hills State Park. And part of this, the city is requiring those bike paths to be installed on Bull Valley and Kern. The county is currently in the process of design, which construction starts next year on the Bull Valley Road bike path, which will take you from the current Prairie Trail east to the existing trail that's on the other side of on the eastern side of Route 31. So again, long-term planning, these bike paths that run north and south on Kern Road and east and west on Bull Valley Road, these have been in the works for years. And as these development comes in, we require these developers to go ahead and install these bike paths at their cost. So that's to address that question.
Okay, try again. Thank you very much for the water. Appreciate it. You know, with regard to home prices, I don't know if I can evade the fact that
Can you turn on your mic? Thank you.
sorry, I don't know if I conveyed properly, the core section is identified to be more affordable. It's really one of the challenges we have, and you've seen the governor announce this, you know, affordable building in Illinois and everything, and I don't know what kind of factor is going to come out of that. But we have definitely a pricing problem in Illinois. Land development costs, land costs, permitting costs, which comes, you know, cities, counties, and everything else. Taxes that people have to pay. The requests, the additional requests that are made that we end up trying to accommodate, density comes up. So we have a certain number of people that have to pay for these improvements. So when that cuts down, it starts to get unaffordable. So when we talk about zoning, it doesn't work. And this is why we have to go to a PUD, because today's homeowner cannot afford all the things that they really want. Okay. And we know that. And everybody, it's a little reality check, I think, on a lot of home buyers. And if anybody can get people into an affordable home, it's us. Between our mortgage rates, our efficiencies of building, our contractor relationships, we call them trade partners because they really are, even down to with the level scheduling that we do. We keep our contractors on the site. They're there. Very efficient for the contractors. They dig, they move down the block, they dig, they dig. So very even. So the homes get under construction. Those homes are going to be sold, okay? Not too many developers work with that business model. We are going to sell homes, period, okay? And we're going to give people a good deal and a home that they love in a community they love. I think this team is very special for what they came up with, given the, appreciation for the natural resources on the site, the beauty of this site, and we came up with a plan. And a lot of this came from our initial discussions probably a year plus ago. We came in and asked the city what they wanted. Okay, and we listened. Okay, we definitely listened. Do you want more affordable? Okay, we've got that section. We've got the age target. Most communities we go to love that aspect of it. It's a very low maintenance on the community infrastructure. There are things that we do when we build homes and communities. Okay, you get water main extensions. Okay, there was a question about the infrastructure. This happens as part of our development. Okay, if you get a 12-inch water main along Bull Valley Road, there's another set of tie-ins for the city. Okay, your infrastructure is actually more reliable. You've stretched out your thing. Your actually bonding capacity probably increases as well because you get those assets that we put in the ground. Okay, so there's a lot. Say we spend all this money on land development, and then it basically goes to the city, and you get, say, 2,000 new residents to support your businesses downtown. Okay, that's where you need it. You don't need stores opening and then closing because they just can't quite make it because there's not enough folks in town to do it. So that's and then if you look at the just the value of the homes, the tax income revenue that comes in. Yes, we did talk to the schools and Ross helped us do that. And there is a discussion about, their capacity, and they're down a significant percentage from what they were at 15 years ago. And this happens across almost every community we work in. So instead of empty desks and classrooms or partially, we're starting to get more efficient and they can use that money to help teach children. As far as, so I think you had it up a minute ago, Doug. So the affordable section, those look nice, but those are geared to be affordable, those homes. Yes, that's the larger one. That's age targeted. These are more affordable. So the home sites are a little narrower. That helps us cut the cost of the home. The homes are smaller, getting down to, and I can't remember what I told you, 1,200. Yeah. So very modern style, very attractive home nonetheless. Okay. So we thought about that. So, and the other thing, I think the other concern was, how fast does this get built out? It doesn't happen overnight. This will take years. I would be surprised if it didn't, if it didn't take 4 or 5 years to get this done. We will get it done. This won't be one of those communities where it starts and it sits and, weeds grow in the streets and everything. We'll get it done, get it turned over, make it active financially for the city. Okay. So I think a lot of folks probably have no realization how much study and how much science is into this. And, we do, like I said, we do about 2,000 homes a year. This is a science. It really is. So, and one of the most important things that we do is get together with leadership and staff and ask them what they want. And I think we did a pretty good job on that. I think you're going to drive into the community and people are going to go, yeah, I want to live here. Okay. And I heard some concerns about HOA. Obviously, HOA declarations are governed by state law. We understand how that works. I don't know what else. I think the rest is probably traffic questions that Michael can help with.
Good evening. My name's Michael Worthman. I'm a principal with the firm of KLOA Inc. We're a traffic and transportation firm out of Rosemont, Illinois. I am the author of the thorough traffic study that was conducted for the project. And just want to talk several points for you. From a traffic perspective, this development is considered low density. And you've heard some of the reasons, but I just want to go through it again. It's all single family. No multifamily at all. We work on a lot of residential developments, and a lot of them now are putting multifamily and single family in just to put that diversity in. We don't have any multifamily. Second is 1/3 of the units are age targeted. They typically generate less traffic than a typical single family home, particularly during those critical morning and evening peak hours. The third point is we have no commercial. The last development had 11 acres plus or minus of commercial. That's why our density is higher, sir. That's why we have more homes than they did. And the commercial generates a whole lot more traffic than a single family home does. So looking at the plan that was previously proposed and I believe approved, that would have generated more traffic than what this development will generate. Second, as it pertains to trip generation, we are going to generate traffic, not denying it, but this traffic is not all generated at the same time. People leave between 6 to 9 in the morning. It's distributed over several hours. Same thing in the afternoon. People are coming home between 3 and 6. So why we will generate traffic, it is distributed along the roadway system. More importantly, we're going to have multiple access drives to both developments or both sides. 2 access drives on Bull Valley, 3 on Curran Road, and as you've heard, internal connections to the existing neighborhoods. All of the access drives on Bull Valley and Curran will be designed with separate left turn lanes on Bull Valley and Curran. So we will pull our traffic out of that through lane when they want to make a left turn in. The western Bull Valley access drive will have a separate right turn lane. That's the main access drive. We did talk about additional right turn lanes, but no one really was for those, just given what has happened at your intersection with Dartmoor and Curran Road. The first point is your roadway system does have sufficient capacity to accommodate this additional traffic. Yes, we will be adding traffic, but there is capacity there. The biggest issue you have is at the intersection of Bull Valley and Crystal Lake Road. We have talked about looking once the development is built out, that some signal timings may need to be modified at that intersection just to better accommodate the demand and traffic. The fifth point I want to talk about is neighborhood connectivity. That is one of the principles of good planning, is keeping these neighborhoods interconnected for many reasons, from a pedestrian standpoint and from a traffic standpoint. And this is often a two-way street. Yes, we will add some traffic to those neighborhoods, but those neighborhoods will be traveling through us to get to Bull Valley or Curran Road. So while we may add some traffic to their neighborhood, we're actually taking some traffic off their neighborhood roads and putting it on our roads. More importantly, all these connections through these neighborhoods are second access points for the neighborhood, secondary access points. Our main access points are on Curran and Bull Valley Road. We will add some traffic to these neighborhoods, but it will not be significant by any means. And like I said, it's probably going to be pretty close to a net zero, given that a lot of the traffic will be traveling through our neighborhood. More importantly, I think the last point I want to say, our study was thoroughly examined by your staff and, more importantly, your external consultant who reviewed the report. They had some comments. We revised the report, and it's my understanding that they've concurred with the findings and everything with our traffic study. So I'm here to answer any more questions, and I appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Any other questions by council? Alderman Glenn.
I'm just going to make one comment, and that's the fact that the Dartmoor Bridge was the first time I learned the lesson. That was probably 31 years ago when they talked about it here in this room. And at the time, I was all for the Dartmoor Bridge because of the fact that what the engineers had told me and all the studies that they did, oh, you're going to have less traffic over in your area and everything else. And the day that bridge opened up, the traffic started. And what I learned and I've seen over the years is the fact that engineering is great, except for one thing, and that's the fact that they follow the book. And the book doesn't write out for McHenry itself. Every community is different. That's why we have city councils that make those decisions. And basically, engineering is an educated guess. You don't have a crystal ball, neither do I. But it's like I say, we live in this community, we know this community, and that's why not necessarily do I just go by what engineers tell me.
Any other questions?
Along Curran Road, you have Legends and Lakes, and the offset is pushed to the west from Curran Road. That's quite a distance on both sides. You know, the subdivision, how far away they are from the road, because you were saying that in case there was going to be a 4-lane road there, is that the same kind of setup that's going to be done? It's a 50-foot buffer?
Hi, I'm Madeline Larman, Mackey Consultants, the civil engineer on the project. Rich touched on it a bit, but I can give you the exact numbers. Yes, Curran Road has an existing dedicated right-of-way of 180 feet, so 90 on each side. And then from that right-of-way, we also have a 50-foot buffer to the back of these lots. So to answer your question, yes, they are largely set back. That's Curran. And on Bull Valley, we are dedicating a 75-foot half right-of-way. And then from that 75-foot half right-of-way, we are also giving another 50-foot buffer to the back of the lots. So these homes in the back of the lots are going to be significantly set back from the roadway.
By the way, while you're there, do you know the cross section of Curran? What it consists of?
Yeah, it's 2 lanes in each, or sorry, the depth of it. The pavement thickness? Not at this time, no. No. And then I'm sorry, just because it was talked about, and I think Rick touch on it a bit, but the water capacity topic, we are making, a pretty significant, what we understand to be a pretty significant connection that connects, you have 2 12-inch stubs that we will be carrying along Bull Valley through our property, and then it connects up in the north at Legend Lakes. We talk early and often with Public Works and the engineering department to understand capacities and pressures and all of that. So that was reviewed and, is actually considered an upsizing, because our development alone would not necessarily require a 12-inch water main, but because there's 2 existing 12-inch, we're going to go ahead and maintain that size and loop it through your system. So that's just a little bit more specificity to that earlier topic. Any other, I guess, engineering?
Alderman Cook.
Would Bull Valley Road be the same way, like along Curran Road? You got the 90-foot on one side.
It's a 75-foot half, which is a lot. Curran already had the 90 for that possible anticipated widening, but yeah, 75 foot, which the side we control. And the idea would be the developer eventually across the street would dedicate another 75 for a full 150 right away at the time.
Why would you not keep it at 90 feet?
90 is not really necessary for the anticipated roadway cross section there. Again, even on Curran, now that bypass is not potentially going that way, 90 on each side is going to it's going to be a lot of, parkway before the buffer, the 50-foot buffer, which is where we get to put a berm and trees and landscaping. So if you give it all to the right of way, then you can't really put a screening berm and things of that nature in a public right of way.
The reason why I'm asking is because of the traffic on Bow Valley Road. Why wouldn't you do it for the same thing for Curran Road as you would Bow Valley Road? Because if they decide to put a 4-lane in there, I mean, it could be.
You'll be able to fit a 4-lane if you ever needed to. 150-foot right of way
Sir,
Okay,
would be sufficient.
just asking because, I think it should be the same all the way around with the Legend Lakes. The 90-foot.
Yeah, we're matching the dedication that has already occurred at the intersection with the traffic light of 150. So, again,
I would like it for Bull Valley too.
that's what I'm saying.
given that
At Bull
extra-
Valley and Curran, there's already a dedication that we are just matching and extending. So, again, our opinion and looking at everything and future build out, 150-foot right of way is plenty. Again, if you wanted more right of way, you would just be taking it from the buffer and then you didn't get as high of a berm, nice screening, nice landscaping, things of that nature.
Thank you. All right. Any other questions, comments by council at this time? All right. So obviously this is part of the process. So everyone, we obviously don't want to bring in a development, that doesn't fit in the city of McHenry. None of us want that. Us over on this side, you all on that side. Lennar doesn't want that. They're looking to sell the homes as well. And so I think it's important to hit on some of these topics that people are talking about, more of the residents at this point. I know density has been a big topic. The trail system has been a topic, a buffer between the homes and the development itself. Specifically, I should know the street, Newport, over off of Newport Trail, right where the cursor is. So I know those homeowners are speaking up as far as making sure there's some type of buffer there. Infrastructure, obviously that's something that the city looks at on a yearly basis. Projects, property that's vacant, we do that on a regular basis for any infrastructure that we need to have for future developments. As far as the schools go, the school system, the school superintendents and I, along with city staff, meets on a regular basis. We call it ad hoc, and we have these conversations about what developments are coming. We turned in a development report of future development, future land that is going to be developed in the near future. Okay, and this has been going on since I've been in office and even prior these ad hoc meetings. So they're very aware of any type of development, whether it's commercial, residential. Just so we're very clear, it's not like they're caught off guard on this. Okay, there's communication on both sides, and we have a great relationship with the school districts. So once again, I think there's some topics that need to be discussed. I know there's some council members that have some concerns on some of those topics. And I think, making sure that we hit on those, and whether we table this, okay, which I've done many times, because the last thing we want is to have an item fail. And then what does that do for any of us, right? I think everyone here understands that this is going to be developed. Are we clear on that? Like, I think everyone understands, even the people that bought homes there understand that this is going to be developed. At the end of the day, we want to have a great development where we can all look back and go, okay, this is what we wanted. This is what we're happy to have in our community. I do love the actual layout. I love the design. But density obviously is a concern for many. So with that being said, I'll open up for comments, questions by council, but more input on where you stand at this point before we go into a vote. Alderman Doherty?
Sure. I love the east side of the proposal. I'm concerned with the density, but the density doesn't bother me as bad as the west side. If I was in the Legend Lakes area and I'm looking at the map here, 7 homes on the Legend Lakes side, 14 on the other side. That would bother me if I had paid for the property in Legend Lakes. I lived in Deerwood subdivision for 15 years. I'm used to the open space. I'm downtown McHenry. I get the open space, and I get that's why the residents bought the property, in Legend Lakes. So that side of the project really bothers me, the density. The Adari subdivision or that area does not. I understand the concept there with the single family, less maintenance home. That's the generation I'm moving into. I'd love to buy one of those. But again, it's the west side that really bothers me, the density, and I couldn't support it as is right now.
Thank you. Any other comments? Alderman Bessie?
I think I've been very clear, and I appreciate, Mayor Jett, that you are considering tabling this so we can work out the density. So I appreciate that.
Any other comments? Alderman Miller?
I think one of the most important comments that Rick made from Lennar, and again, it always is resonant in the back of my head, is this doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't just poof, drop in. He doesn't work magic. He doesn't have great batteries and a magic wand. It has to be developed. It has to grow. And although they build to sell, it's not going to be an overnight project. And I think our community will certainly embrace it as it happens. I, for one, spend most of my day every day in the car. In the part of my job that I love the most, and I've found every shortcut through every subdivision. I think everybody does to avoid 31, 120, Bull Valley, but that doesn't mean that 1,000 other cars follow me. So I do think that as we see this develop, the kinks will work out. I know I've had private conversation about what warrants a stoplight, and we've struggled with that on Curran Road. What number gives us a stoplight? I'm not sure if we've reached an opinion yet if this subdivision does that. I don't know that I've had that conversation. It's always a safety and traffic concern, but this property will develop, and it's our job to make sure it develops nicely. Thank you.
So I'll discuss a little bit about, as far as the warrants, about warrants and meeting the warrants for a traffic signal at Dartmoor and Curran Road. Even with this subdivision, staff can tell me to shut up at any point if I'm saying this wrong, but it will not meet warrants, and we don't feel it's going to meet warrants even with this neighborhood being built as is. Okay. That doesn't mean that we can't install a light there. Okay. We've had these conversations and actually modified that intersection, like someone mentioned, to save the $800,000 and not put a light there or whatever it was. It might have been over $1 million. I don't know what it was. But that was like 20 grand. So that was a lot better option. And so far it has done what we wanted it to do. Also interconnection. I want to mention the interconnection with all the neighborhoods. I think it's important to have an interconnection community. I think it's important to have all these neighborhoods connect. So, for fire, PD, and the residents as a whole. So those are two things I just wanted to mention as well.
Thank you for the information on the warrant.
Sure. Was I right on that, staff? Okay, thanks. Any other questions, comments, input? Alderman Davis, you got any input? Sorry to put you on the.
Yeah, I mean, I like the development, obviously, or the concept, I should say. There's a lot, I think, that still needs to be worked out. So again, maybe a vote is not exactly what we want tonight. We might want to table this to work out whatever issues those are. I do have some, obviously the stoplight is something that's been an issue. Maybe that's something we look at, if come up with some funding sources or some creative ways to kind of work around that with the builders, stuff like that. While I think that it's very important for the pathways, I think they're a little disjuncted the way they're set up. I think there could be a smoother transition between the neighborhoods, incorporate some of the older neighborhoods into those, so at least they're accessible that way, just to kind of accommodate that. For the private use of the parks, we have the same issue in my neighborhood. People come and use the parks. Nobody's, I know people were laughing and making comments when he mentioned they're not checking IDs. Very few people in this room probably can raise their hand and say that they've been kicked out of a park that's a private park for a neighborhood, if they've ever done that. And if they have, shame on the people in that neighborhood, realistically. So other than that, I do have a list of things that I would like to see, but I think those are something that many people have reiterated, so I'm not going to go through here, but thanks.
Alderman Cook, do you have any input on where you stand right now and any concerns you have?
I have the same problem with the density. I mean, I'm looking at Legend Lakes, the amount of homes that are there and the elbow room that they have. And it just seems like for the 6 homes that I look at right now, the same amount of distance and all that, there's a 7th home in there, so it's, take that one home out, give them a little bit more elbow room, I'd be happy with it. And that's just on the west side. So, I mean, look, at the concept is great. I'd live there. And it just seems like cramming 10 pounds of snot in a 5-pound bag. Just give them a little bit more elbow room.
Any other questions? All right. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and ask for a motion to table this item. Lennar is obviously someone who we would like to work with. Lennar has done a great job in Legend Lakes and other sites in the city. And I think it's important that we work with them and try to get this across the finish line and make it so the residents are happy with the product that's coming forward. So at this time, looking for a motion to table 8C.
Can I add to that? Usually you're supposed to put a date on here when you're going to table it to. Instead, could we put an event, perhaps, that there's going to be a development agreement drafted and presented to the city council along with the items that are on today's agenda. Perhaps if you're going to table it until that agreement's ready to be presented at the same time, whatever that is, and then present it all at once. If we get the development agreement, are we done with items, these and the development agreement? That would be it, right?
Then final, but yes.
Okay, well, finals
Finals.
final whenever they're ready.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I would agree with
So
that.
does my motion have to change?
I would, well, as far as the time frame, I would trigger it based on the presentation of a development agreement. Table it until a development agreement's ready to be presented for approval. And then by that time, whatever everybody plans on doing, have it done. And I guess that's going to take 2 weeks.
So in the comments that have been made about the plan, we're not going to modify the plan in the development agreement, right? That's a different topic. So
Say what again?
Seems there are some issues with the plan itself and the density. So I guess the question is, until we resolve those, I'm not sure it makes sense to work on a development agreement.
Why is that?
Well,
We don't know what it would take to get through that.
So when you start removing homes,
Well,
you're
yeah, but
redoing
the-
engineering.
Wait. The plan is attached to the development agreement.
Right, what Lisa's saying is if it's too dense and they have to remove homes, now you're going through a process of re-engineering the project, which doesn't take 2 weeks. That's gonna take a lot of time. So, to put it, when you ask for 2 weeks, it's like, that's,
Fine.
It's
Look,
a big,
I'm trying to move
it's a
it
big,
along.
it's a big ask,
Motion
you know.
to table with no date. That
Okay.
would be the thing.
All right, so I'm looking for a motion to table with no date. Alderman Bassi.
I will make that motion to table the Lennar development with no date.
Thank you. Second. Alderman Gleb. Monty, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Bassi,
Yes.
Alderman Glab, Alderwoman Bainey,
No.
Alderman Doherty,
Yes.
Alderman Davis,
Yes.
Alderman Cook,
Yes.
Alderwoman Miller.
No.
Thank you. All right, so at this time, it'll be on the agenda in upcoming weeks or months, whatever the case may be. We will work with Lennar, staff and I, along with the council members individually, to make sure that the next product that does come forward is something that everyone could be happy with. So I thank you all for coming out and speaking, all right, and being professional. Next item on the agenda is staff reports. Any staff reports? See none. I have nothing. Mayor's report. City council comments? See none. Looking for a motion to adjourn. Alderman Doherty,
I'll make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
second. Alderwoman Miller.
Second.
Monty, please call the roll.
Alderman Doherty,
Yes.
Alderwoman Miller, Alderman Cook,
Yes.
Alderman Davis,
Yes.
Alderwoman Bassi,
Yes.
Alderman Glab, Alderwoman Bainey.
Yes.